What's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. Listen, have y'all been hearing what's going on in these social media streets with Cardi B and Nicki Minaj? It's a shame. Let me just say this first of all. I'm really not too invested in these celebrity lives because your girl's still trying to make it herself. I'm still trying to make it. These ladies is already successful, honey. They already rich. So, but I do have a comment though. I do. Do y'all really think Nicki Minaj said that culture is an ugly monkey? I really would hope that it was AI and that maybe somebody hacked her page. She really dug down in hell for that comment. That's crazy. I really hope that it's not true. She need a butt whip if it is true. I just had to comment that because Nikki, why? Nikki, why? I just had to comment that. I'm just seeing all of these videos left and right about the beef that's going on. So y'all let me know down below. Y'all think Nikki would say that about culture? About Cardi B child? I just hope it's not true. But anyways, sorry, I'm Londa. Welcome to my channel. If this y'all first time here, honey, I tell story times. You are going to love it here. We're going to talk a little bit about some people, some things, laugh a little bit. We're going to argue down in the comments because that's what we do over here. So make sure, again, you like the channel to help me grow. Hit your notification bell because I be a little bit all over the place, honey. And if you already a part of my crew, you know what time it is. I'm about to get into the story and stop my rambling. Let's go. So y'all, when I was a teenager, me and my dad stayed in this neighborhood called Brown Sub. Now, I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of family that watch my channel. Y'all gonna know what I'm talking about. Um, I was a teenager in high school around this time. The block was quiet, but it was around this time where a lot of kids would still be outside playing on their bike, a little hustle and bustle, but still relatively quiet. It used to be this lady on the block, and she stayed at the very end of the block, like pretty much the last house on the block. The house looked like a bando. It had some of the windows had like boards on it. She had a lot of trash in the yard, like piled to the top, and she would walk in her yard all the time. Like she would just rumble and roam around the trash in the yard. She would talk to herself occasionally. But we as the community, the neighborhood, she'd been there for years. She didn't really bother us like that. So to make it worse, y'all, at the end of this block, it was a cemetery. This cemetery has been in the community for so long. I'm talking about for over 100 years. So old to the point it was crowded, the cemetery. So crowded that they had to start putting people on top of each other, really. So when the ground got full to capacity, if I could add a picture here, from the internet, I could probably add a picture to give y'all an idea of what I'm trying to describe. The ground is full, so now they started piling concrete tombstones on top of ground level, so you can actually see it till this day. So that just made it extra creepy, that she stayed in the house right by the cemetery. I guess she didn't have no choice, but it was just, that just made it extra creepy. I don't know if I want to name this woman for the story time. I'm going to call her I don't know, Miss Sandy just came to my head. So I'm going to call this lady Miss Sandy. Like I said, she stayed by the cemetery. Her house looked like a bando. She was a very weird lady. She had like a lot of trash in her yard. It was piled up. She looked kind of like a hoarder-ish. And she would not only like not clean up the yard, she would just roam around in the yard all the time, y'all. Just roam around. Sometime I would walk to the park. For me to walk to the park, I would have to pass her house at the end of the block. I would see her out in the yard. At first when I was younger, I would speak to her. I'd be like, hey, Miss Sandy. Girl, Miss Sandy, y'all know I have a thing about people not speaking when you speak, but I didn't care if she didn't speak to me. She was weird. So like I would have to like pass her house to go to the block, like the park, and I would say, hi, Miss Sandy, when I was younger, and she would just stare at me. She would just be like, creepy. So once or twice I said hello and she just stared me down. You don't have to worry about me ever speaking to you again, Miss Sandy. You cool girl. So we have a lot of stray cats and dogs in our neighborhood. Even to this day, it's a lot of cats in my parking lot. They poop on top of the cars. You can see their little paw marks on top of the car from them scratching, jumping up and down. They hide under the cars from the sun, from the rain. It's just cats and dogs everywhere. Same thing that was back then, in the neighborhood. A lot of cats, a lot of dogs. They didn't really bother nobody, but they were just there all the time. So very next, right next door to my dad's house was a two-story duplex kind of rooming house type thing. It was a rehab house. It was full of Spanish people, and they had chickens in the backyard. My dad was very close to them because they would give my dad like a lot of food, like pantry food, like a bunch of fruits, extra bread. So my dad was really close to the people next door to us, right? And but they also had chickens in their backyard, which I couldn't stand because they would make noise every morning, like right? So one day we are in the backyard, my dad talking to them, and I'm, really listening, ear hustling, and the pastor was saying that two of his chickens have gone missing. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, just listening. My dad was like, maybe they got away or whatever. And the pastor was like, no, my chickens don't run away. I've had my chickens for a while. They don't really go outside of the gate. They should be here. So my dad is just like, we have a lot of cats and raccoons and stuff around here. All these trees, and probably a snake got it or whatever. The pastor was like, nah, like, I don't know, my chickens is gone. He just wanted his chickens, right? So my dad talking, and then that conversation goes on. Directly across the street from my dad was this Bahamian guy. Now the Bahamian guy was a dog breeder. He would have like a lot of dogs in his yard, and so he was really close with my dad as well. So he came across the street and he was talking to my pop. Now I'm in high school. I'm always around my dad. I had no life, so I'm always around my dad. He's talking to him, and I'm around. I'm ear hustling again. So the man across the street, the Bahamian guy, is telling my dad, like, yeah, like I had like my dogs in the back in the kennel, and like my dog, like a dog is missing. Like I don't know where my little puppy went. So my pop is like, my dad is always trying to give reasoning, did you leave the kennel open? Maybe he got out some kind of way. And the Bahamian guy is like, nah, it's a puppy. Like it's a small puppy. It's crazy that my puppy is missing. You know why it's crazy? Because if the gate was open, all of the other puppies would be out. But the gate is locked, but one of my freaking puppies is missing. So I'm ear hustling. I'm listening because I'm trying to think like what happened to his puppy. So now, some days is going by and we're seeing like a decrease in like the stray cats and dogs. Like I don't know if animal control had came on the block and did a sweep or whatnot, but they just wasn't around how they were. So rumors start going around the neighborhood that Miss Sandy down the block was hoarding these cats and dogs. Like she was taking them, doing something with them. We don't know exactly what she was doing with them. I didn't make those rumors. I just was hearing the neighbors speculate that Miss Sandy was doing it. Now, the reason why they suspected Miss Sandy to, I'm trying to give y'all an idea of how Miss Sandy was. She was a real quiet lady. She appeared to be a hoarder. She, very messy around her home. She gave off a very weird vibes, and it was just a whole lot of right. So the reason why people started speculating Miss Sandy was the one taking the cats and dogs out of the damn neighborhood, girl, because somebody called the county on her because the neighborhood started stinking a little bit from all of the trash around her house. Now, once they came and they made Miss Sandy do a cleanup, they had the construction workers out there. So while not construction workers, the cleanup people, like I guess she hired, or they hired the cleanup crew to come remove some of the stuff from around the house. Now, while they was out there removing some of the stuff from out the house, nosy neighbors was going up to the cleaning crew just to talk and just be nosy so they can talk about Miss Sandy, right? Apparently, Miss Sandy had two bags back there. Two bags. And inside of the bags, one was a cat and the other one was a chicken with his head cut off. Now, I'm not saying Miss Sandy was over there doing rituals, y'all. I'm not saying that. But when I heard about the chicken with his head cut off in the bag, I'm from Miami. It's called Santa Maria. That's what the Spanish people do. You know how black people, we call it voodoo or the woo? The Spanish people, they call it Santa Maria. And down here in Miami, in certain neighborhoods like Little Havana, Hialeah, some people do Santa Maria. And when you go in certain neighborhoods, if you ride and you smell something stanky and you see a plastic bag in the middle of the street, it's most likely a chicken with his head cut off, because they perform in Santa Maria, aka a ritual, aka voodoo. So when I heard about the chicken with his head cut off, I was like, oh snap, Miss Sandy is over there doing that woo. So I was feeding into it a little bit, but I even as when I was younger, I just thought it was mental health. You know what I'm saying? And let me give y'all an example of why I thought it was just mental health and people was tripping. You know why? Because like when my dad would talk to the pastor, uh one of the guys who stayed in the rooming house, I heard him talking to my dad saying that they saw Miss Sandy levitate. Girl, let me tell you something. This is why I just thought it was mental illness, because people when they wanted to believe she was a witch, right? They wanted to believe Miss Sandy was a witch. So they was speculating that the guy said he saw her levitating in her yard one time. And I don't believe that. You know why? Because witches don't levitate. Real witches, I don't think they levitate. Real witches look just like you and I. Real witches and warlocks, they look just like everyday people. They look pretty. They look normal. They look lawyers, doctors, teachers, mothers, fathers. They don't levitate. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like people, because of the chickens, and they thought she was doing rituals, and the cats was going missing. People in a brain in the neighborhood, they wanted to believe Miss Sandy was a witch. So I just knew better, because I'm smarter than that. I believe in God. I don't want to be deceived. Witches do not. It's not going to come to me with no long nails and levitating on a broom. They're going to look like normal people like you and I, right? So I was like, these people tripping. Miss Sandy ain't no freaking witch. She cool. She just a little crazy. She just a little off or whatever. So one day I had a little friend I was gonna meet to the park. I always had to pass Miss Sandy house to go to that park, like I described to y'all. I'm walking past the park, and this specific day, walking up to Miss Sandy house felt weird. It just felt weird, y'all. I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to do none of that. It just felt weird. Her house, just approaching her house felt weird this day. So I'm about to hit the block to go to the park, and I could see her. She had a car. She had the hood up, all four doors were open, and she was underneath the car. You know how just like a regular, like you working on your car, you underneath it. That's how it looked. So I was like, okay, Miss Sandy doing something different today. She out working on her car, whatever. Get it, girl. I go to the park, hang with my little friend. It's like an hour or two later. He like, come on, let me go ahead and walk you home. I'm like, cool. We walking past the same block. I have to walk past her house again to get back home, y'all. Miss Sandy is still out there with her car the same way. I'm talking about the car looks the same. The hood is still up. All four doors are open. The hood is up. And Miss Sandy is in the same position from when I saw her 2 hours prior. So I thought it was a little strange. You know, my friend didn't really know. It didn't catch his attention because he don't know Miss Sandy. He that was his first time seeing her, so he didn't say nothing. But me, I was staring a little bit, you know. So we go to the house. My dad stayed like 8 houses down, so we make it to my dad's house. We chilling outside for a little bit. My dad come home. We want to go smoke a little bit. You know, I respect my dad. I never do that at the house. So we're going to go walk back to the park, right? So me and my friend, we start walking back to the park. We have to pass Miss Sandy house again. This was like probably an hour or two after that. Miss Sandy is still in her yard with her car. All four doors open. The hood open. And she was underneath the car in the same position. So this is what, 2, 4, almost 5 hours now, and I'm walking slow, because again, every time I walk past her house, I'm getting just this feeling. I'm feeling a little. I can't describe the feeling. You know how you walk past a house, like a haunted house or a horror house, and you just feel scared. That's how I felt when I was walking past her house this day. So I'm walking past the house slow because I'm thinking I'm about to tell my friend. I'm like, I think maybe I should go check and see if Miss Sandy okay, because she been under her car for like 5 hours now. And my friend was like, nah, like you good, like you don't know her, mind your business. Like he was one of them kind of dudes, like don't mind your business. So we go to the park, y'all. Now we at the park, we chilling. We actually see some people we know. His homeboys was out there that he knew. He done caught the ball. You know, he throwing a few hoops for a little bit while I'm out there chilling. So I ain't gonna, like 45 minutes later. So I'm like, okay, it's getting late. I'm ready to go back home. So we start walking back to my dad's house. We hitting the block. Y'all, I can hear Miss Sandy from probably from the park, almost from the park where I can hear. Like we about to hit the block, I can hear. So Miss Sandy is finally up from underneath the car, and she's screaming to the top of her lungs. I'm talking about everybody on the block is outside at this point. She's screaming to the top of her lungs. She's arguing with somebody. Like, you know, before I approached her house, me and my friend, we can hear her arguing with somebody. Like, she sounded like she was fighting with somebody. You can hear somebody like actually like tugging at her, pulling at her, and she's just like, let me go, let me go, get out of my house, get out of my house. She was going crazy. So me and my friend, we started walking a little faster because we want to be nosy. What's going on? Somebody fighting. So we started walking a little faster. I hit the block, and we like pretty much in front of Miss Sandy's house. She wasn't fighting with nobody. Miss Sandy was in the middle of her house, like in the front of her house. I mean, just arguing to herself, to the air. She was like, get out of my house, get out of my gate. You always in my house, get out of my effing house. Get out of my house. You keep hurting me. You keep hurting me. So everybody is out there just staring at her. I'm wondering, now I'm not even looking at Miss Sandy at this point. Her door was wide open. I'm looking inside of her house at this point because I'm trying to see maybe if somebody is in her house attacking her. Who is she talking to? So she's still yelling. Everybody outside just staring at her. Nobody came over to help her. Nobody called the police because, like I told y'all, this has been going on with Miss Sandy for years. They think she's a witch. I just think she has mental problems. So she's in the yard and she's just like, get out of my house. You've been hurting me. You always coming through my windows. She was like, I shut my windows closed. Y'all, Miss Sandy was just pretty much out there telling whoever it was, you're hurting me. Get out of my house. You keep breaking into my house. Leave me alone, right? Some time after that, I'm coming home from work. I used to catch the bus back in the day. I didn't have no car when I was in high school. I used to have a little job. So I'm coming home from work. I used to have to walk down the street. As I'm walking down the avenue, I can see red and blue lights. It's the hood. I'm in Brown Sub. Police is over here all the time. Probably done bust a drug house. Somebody fighting. Something happened. Somebody got shot. Something happened. So I'm walking. I'm like, oh snap, the popo on the block. So I'm approaching my dad's house. I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer. It is roped off half the block. Like my dad half was open, but like a few houses after my dad, it was roped off. You had to go opposite way. So I go in the house, and my dad and his girlfriend, they in there, Miss Mary. So Miss Mary was like, girl, let me, you will see what's outside. So I'm like, what happened? I see all the police. She was like, girl, Sandy. I was like, what happened to Miss Sandy? So she was like, I don't really know what happened, but she was out there screaming and like somebody attacked her. I was like, attacked her? So my dad, everybody is speculating in the house of what happened to Miss Sandy. I take a shower, call my little friend. We finna meet at the park, you know, whatever. So I put on my clothes and I'm telling my pop I'm finna go to the park. So I'm getting ready. Like I said, it was roped off, but I can walk through because, you know, I didn't have a car. I want to be nosy too. So I'm about to hit Miss Sandy's house again to go to this park. So I'm walking real slow. The detectives out there, people out there, the cops is talking. They're talking. I can hear everything. Miss Sandy house was already a mess, like I told y'all. She was borderline hoarder, but you can tell something happened. Like the windows that was not boarded up was all busted out. Her front door was bust in. It had a big hole in it. Her car windows was busted out. Her car had scratches on it. Something bad had happened. So I'm like I'm barely walking. I'm stalling. I'm like tiptoeing past the cops because I'm listening, right? So they like, oh, she pretty much saying that she was attacked. Somebody, she's hurt. She had bruises and she's bleeding from glass. Somebody really attacked her. Like somebody really ran in Miss Sandy house and really attacked her, like on some crazy stuff, right? So I go to the park. I go to my friend. You know, we chilling. I tell my friend what happened. He like, nah, she crazy. I told y'all she crazy. She a witch. I told y'all, like, cause he started hearing the rumors and all that kind of stuff too. Like I think she a witch. I don't think Miss Sandy a witch. I go back home. I tell Pop the news. I'm like, Pop, I heard them talking. Somebody attacked that lady. Like I seen her windows busted out. They say she was bleeding and everything. I'm telling Pop to school. Pop like, ain't nobody attacked that lady. I was here all day. Ain't nobody. We just heard glass breaking and she was screaming and stuff. He was like, nobody attacked that lady. She's a witch. So I was like, nah, tripping. Time goes on. I'm talking about some years because now I'm out of high school. I have moved away from my dad's house. Time is going on. I'm a young lady now. I have my car. I had my apartment. I'm a young lady now. It's years later. Miss Sandy still stayed at the house because, you know, that's my dad's house. He still stayed there. I would go there all the time. I would see Miss Sandy. Now it looked like she got a little worse throughout the years. What I mean by a little worse, meaning she just started looking dark. Her face looked like she was sick and like she just don't rest. Like she had very bad bags under her eyes when I would see her. It's just the energy, y'all. Like, you have to believe me. Like, I'm sure y'all have experience when walking up to a house, feel scared, or just seeing people, and it just feel like that you just feel a sense of fear, or just her energy was just something else. It was just something else. That's all I can say. Every time I seen Miss Sandy, her energy, it just gave off something else. That's all I can say, right? So this is years later. I'm a young lady, moved away. Your girl AC had a leak. I had an AC leak in my little car, right? So I would have to go to AutoZone and buy me a can or two of Freon, and I would have to hook my little hose to the AC, fill that bad boy up, and get my AC cold, right? It was in the summer. It was real hot. So I go to the AutoZone. I kept my car running. I go inside. I get my little 2 cans of Freon. I'm paying for it. I had to wait at the register for a while because nobody was there. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting. Eventually, this lady come out the back, maybe a manager or a supervisor. She started walking toward the front door because she see me standing at the register, right? So I'm standing there. After like 5 minutes, I started walking to the front door too. Because what you looking at? You see the cashier? What the hell y'all doing? As I'm walking to the front door, this young man is coming in the front door. So the manager, she opens it. She's standing there. The young man walks in angry. He like, man, this lady be tripping. She tripping. Like, I done tried to help her, but it's nothing wrong with her car. Like, I'm not helping her no more. So I'm listening to him talk to the supervisor. I'm standing there. So he's like, I'm not helping her no more. She tripping. The supervisor was like, just go help the young lady check her stuff out. I go walk to the register. I pay for my little Freon. I'm about to walk out the door. The supervisor lady was still standing at the door, staring outside of the door. So as I'm about to walk out the door, the supervisor was like, come help the lady. She tells the dude, come help the lady. He's like, no, I'm not helping her no more. She creepy. She creepy. Like, it's nothing wrong with her car. So I'm about to exit out the door. As I'm about to exit, this lady is approaching the door. Y'all, when I say scared the hell out of me, I'm not capping. Dark skinned lady. She had on like powder. It wasn't paint. It wasn't like clay. It wasn't nothing liquid. It was powder, like white powder. She put white powder on her face, like a white face. She had on a short pixie wig, but the pixie wig was deliberately turned backwards. She had on all black dress. The dress was black, long, and her shoes, she had on like closed-toe shoes, but she deliberately cut the toes out of them. It don't sound that bad to y'all, but when you see somebody walk up to you who look disturbed and deranged like this, you will be taken aback how I was. So before I even touched the door, I was like, what the hell is this? So the supervisor lady is still standing there. So I open the door, and I'm looking at her because she looked familiar. Y'all, it's Miss Sandy. So she didn't really recognize me because her attention is to the supervisor lady. She's telling the supervisor lady, tell the young man, I want the young man to come out here and help me fix my car, my windshield wipers. The supervisor was telling Miss Sandy, he done been out there for like 30 minutes. There's nothing wrong with your windshield wipers. Miss Sandy is telling the supervisor, she was adamant. She was like, I really want him to come out here and touch my car and fix my windshield wipers. And I'm still standing there because I'm scared to walk past Miss Sandy. I'm telling y'all, her wig was twisted. She had powder on her face. She looked scary, y'all. So she was like, it was really like, she really wanted this boy. She was like, I really want him to come fix my car. Tell him to come touch my car and fix my car. The supervisor, and mind you, the supervisor, she was a black girl. She was just like me. She was getting a little buck with it. She was like, nah. He said he can't fix your car. You need to leave out our parking lot right now. And I was getting a little spicy, so I'm not going nowhere. I'm standing right there and I'm being nosy. So the young boy, he wouldn't even come back approach us. He was standing at the register still. He was like, nah, she creepy, bro. It's nothing wrong with her windshield. It's nothing wrong with her car. Like, it's nothing wrong with her car. I'm not going out there. Miss Sandy was like, I want him to come out here and touch my car. Come fix my car. So the supervisor was like, I'm gonna ask you one more time to leave, and I'm gonna have to call the police on you. I'm finna lock the door on you, or whatever. So she looked at me and she was like, are you gonna leave? So I stepped outside the door, and Miss Sandy looks at me. She didn't even recognize me. She didn't know me. She, we, like I say, from the block, we never talked. I just will always see Miss Sandy. She, so she looked at me, and she was like, can you come help me fix my car? I was like, what's wrong with your car? She was like, my windshield wipers is not on right. Y'all, my dumb ass. I walk over to her car. I look at the windshield wipers. I didn't touch the car though. I look at the windshield wipers. I say, it don't look like nothing wrong with your windshield wipers, right? So the supervisor lady, she called me to the door. She was like, come here. So I go back to the door because I was getting ready to walk to my car. So the supervisor lady, I'm standing next to her. She didn't say anything. Miss Sandy started walking back to us, right? So Miss Sandy was like, come look at my car. Come touch my car and see what's wrong with my car. I was scared. I was just looking at her. The supervisor lady was just staring. I don't know why she called me back to her, but she just didn't say anything, right? So Miss Sandy was like, oh, I know you. You look so familiar. And she reached out to me. She reached out to me, and I grabbed her hand, and I say, hey. So after I'm trying to remember, it just made my stomach hurt. So I reached out and I shook her hand or whatever. The supervisor lady looked at me and she was like, why you did that? And so she walked back inside the damn auto zone. Like, bitch, what you called me over here for? You could have saved my life. What you called me back over here to not help me? You didn't say nothing to me. You didn't hooty-hoo me. You didn't do nothing. She gonna walk back inside the auto zone. So I was just like, whatever. So Miss Sandy walked back to her car. I get in my car. I leave. Moral of the story is, y'all, after that, do y'all know I thought about that for years? You know why I thought about that for years? Because what if Miss Sandy was a witch? What if Miss Sandy was a witch? What if, girl, let me light my. What if she was a witch? You know why I say that? Because the feelings I had when I seen her house, the feeling I had that day when I seen her at AutoZone, and I still reached out and touched her. She was so adamant about this young boy touching her car. She wanted me to touch her car. I'm not superstitious. I hear the stories about witches and warlocks touching you, putting spells on you. I thought about that for years. I was like, why did I give that lady a handshake? And I prayed for years. I prayed, and I was, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. All kind of, none of that, and all of that. I prayed and I prayed personal. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. Nothing has, I'm good. I'm covered. God loves me. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, I had that eerie feeling like, what if I came in contact with the witch? What if Miss Sandy was a witch? If y'all seen how she looked that day, you probably would think she was a witch too. Another lesson I learned, mind your damn business. Now y'all see when I tell my story times what I be saying. I'm going to start selling merch. Minding my business. Why? Because I learned to mind my business. Because if I wouldn't have been standing there trying to be nosy and see what was going on, I wouldn't have had opportunity to shake her hand in the first place. But it's like, I thought about that for years, y'all. She was so adamant about this young boy. The young boy was so scared of her. I don't know what she did to this boy in her car. I don't know what he saw in her car. I don't know what she thought was in her car, because she was trying to get him to fix her windshield wipers. But in the same breath, she would say, fix my car. Come touch my car. Like, fix my car. How can he fix your car? You want him to fix your car or fix your wiper blades? What is it? She wanted me to walk up and touch her car. Look in her car. Touch. It was so weird. And y'all know, y'all probably know me by now. I'm scary. I'm scary. I'm a scary girl. I grew up a scary little girl. I don't like ghosts. I don't like stories about stuff like that. I am a scary little girl. I didn't believe in all of that stuff. But after that encounter with Miss Sandy, I really think she was a witch. You know what I'm saying? All those little rituals and stuff they said she did, she probably did. You know, so this was just a quick little story time about how I think I came in contact with the witch and I actually touched her. But no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Nothing has came out of that, and nothing will. You feel me? But it was a scary experience. Now, what happened to Miss Sandy, y'all? Now, that house that Miss Sandy used to stay in, eventually, you know, like I said, I moved away. I became a woman and did my thing. So I would occasionally go back to my dad's house. The house she used to stay in is now a land lot. It's just a lot, an empty lot. So I don't know what happened to her, whether she passed away, she moved away, got evicted. I have no idea. But the house got demolished and it's empty and the land is for sale. I have never seen, my dad don't even stay over there anymore. He now stays in another state. But yeah, that was the story of Miss Sandy the Witch, child. Miss Sandy the Witch. Y'all, if y'all enjoyed this story time, it was quick, and I just, you know, wanted to tell y'all this story because I thought about it. I was at AutoZone, and I just was like, I remember this witch who stayed on my block, and I seen her. Yeah, I wanted to tell y'all this story. If you enjoyed it, comment down below, like my video, make sure I hype your girl up, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, y'all, peace. Oh, quick disclaimer, y'all. I'm working on my vlog, and I just want y'all prayers and to just good wishes for my mama. Y'all gonna see in the vlog that I'm gonna upload later on. My mama had a little episode where she had a cluster of seizures and she was in the ICU, y'all. So I want y'all to give my mama some prayers and good wishes and some good words down below, because I'm gonna show her the video and, you know, get her spirits up when she comes out of her sedation or whatnot. I love y'all. Peace.